What's going on, guys? My name is Tim Ruswick, and today we're talking about finding true north. And I mean this in the metaphorical sense, of course. A lot of people that I talk to seem to be having like trouble finding out why they exist, why they're here on this planet, what they want to do, and those are really hard questions to ask, right? Really hard questions to answer, and I'm definitely not the one to answer it, but I have a lot of friends. Like, I just turned 29. I'm gonna be 30 next year, and in a weird place in life. I have a lot of friends that are around my age, and some of them have not found their thing in life. I've had conversations with a few people trying to find their passion or trying to find their the thing that they love to do. And I think as you're in your 20s, you kind of experiment a bunch, right? You may go to college, you may try out a few different jobs, you may try out a few different hobbies, but by the time you get to 30, it's like you got to figure stuff out. And I know people, well into their 50s that are still kind of having that identity crisis. I think it's why the whole midlife crisis thing happens, right? Because they end up in a job that they hate, and they, with a person they don't like, and they spent way too long, and they feel like they wasted their life, and they kind of go crazy for a little bit. And I never wanted to get to that point. I've always been one to follow what I wanted to do in life, but it hasn't always been easy to find it. And I know it may be easy to kind of think, oh, well, Tim is a game developer, he makes YouTube videos, he does all this stuff. Tim's got his shit handled. But that's not the case, man. Just because I'm on video talking to you guys doesn't mean that I got my shit handled. Doesn't mean that I'm any better or, have my shit any more well together than anybody watching. And finding true north has been kind of something that has always... I've always known that I wanted to do something. I wanted to create something. But I've lost my way many different times. And I've told this story a couple times, but I moved to LA when I was 18 with a suitcase. Nothing but a suitcase. I ended up landing a deal with a property development company that happened to have a whole bunch of properties that they needed marketing for. I had marketed and learned marketing for this piece of software that I wrote that helped game developers get their assets and stuff into a game engine. The engine was FPS Creator. Basically, I made a program to make it really easy to import assets and tweak the gun settings, the rate of fire, all that stuff, and then import it in. I did that for characters, vehicles, all that great stuff. And it was cool. I made a lot of money off that program because I learned marketing. And I used that as an example to kind of land this marketing gig with this company, and in exchange, they would give me a place to stay. So in LA, the most expensive thing is rent. So once I got that covered, I was cool, and I was into game development at that point, but then this marketing thing started kind of making me money, right? I immediately had a massive property development company as my client, and they had 18 different properties. So technically, on paper, I had 18 different clients. And I ended up doing every single one of their websites, doing SEO for all that different stuff, and then I got a whole bunch more clients based on, having all of this in my portfolio. So I ended up doing marketing. I started a marketing company, worked on that for a couple years, tried various startups in and out while doing that, built various pieces of technology, joined up in a partner, did a bunch of stuff with him, kind of merged with a media company. So we started doing advertisements with a guy that did adverts for Lexus and Scion, and I was driving a Dodge Challenger at the time, and he did the actual ad for Dodge Challenger. So that was kind of cool. And then I don't know, man. I woke up one day and I was just like, why am I doing this? Marketing is not what I'm called on this planet to do. Marketing is not something that, when I was a little kid, I said, hey, I want to be a marketer. That's not how life works, right? And I went on this little identity crisis. I called it a quarter life crisis, actually. And I kind of sold the company. I I left everything I could fit in my trunk. I put in my trunk. Everything else I left. And I got to be honest, half of my trunk was filled with books. So literally, I didn't even take anything with me. Pretty much, sold some expensive stuff on Craigslist, but like the rest of the stuff, just fucking left it. And I went on a cross country road trip, and I just drove places in my Challenger, everywhere I wanted to go. I went to San Francisco. Went to GDC, saw all the cool stuff there. I went to Vegas, hung out. I always wanted to go to Roswell. So I went to Roswell. I saw all the aliens. Ended up in a random hailstorm in the middle of Roswell, New Mexico. And I was terrified because my car, man, ice was falling out of the sky. And I was terrified for my Challenger. And then, I've been to a bunch of different places. New Orleans, Texas, all kinds of places. And I ended up in Florida. And I started kind of soul searching because I was like, what's my true north? What am I born to do? And this kind of started a little bit before I even sold the company. It was probably a year or two before. I was just kind of like, it wasn't just one day waking up. I mean, I kind of made the decision one day, but this was a year or two. I was kind of like searching for stuff. And I was even Googling around. Like I was finding different things, like how to find your passion, that stuff. And I realized that I spent a lot of my childhood, maybe my teens, making games, and I started to get back into that. I downloaded all the different programs, started messing with stuff, started prototyping, and that period is where I prototyped a lot of the games that we ended up finishing on Finish Friday, but it was just prototype after prototype, and to be honest, it wasn't like. At that point, I still didn't believe that I could make a living as a game developer. Like as an actual, like make the game that I want to make and sell to people kind of game developer. I had known for a long time that I could make money making games for corporations because I had my partner that had deals with Lexus and all that stuff. And brands, they actually make a lot of games. Big brands actually... They do more than you would think they do. Games for various promotions and all kinds of different stuff. So I figured I could make some money doing that the same way I did websites or the same way I built web apps or any of that stuff. So that's kind of what I started doing. But it really wasn't until I started the YouTube channel and the community started growing and all that stuff that I really started to believe like, hey, maybe this thing is possible. And, now I kind of believe this is the thing that I was meant to do. I mean, game development and the YouTube channel, both. Making games and kind of sharing the journey of making games and kind of helping people out. I think it's got to be a combination of both because I feel like helping people all the time gets overwhelming and making games all the time gets frustrating as shit. So it's got to be both. And I like the balance of both. And I think for the first time in my life, I kind of feel like I'm on the right path. And when I have these friends, and they tell me like they don't know how to find their true north. They don't know. They don't use those words, but I just tell they're lost. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know where they want to go. And I would just say like, for me, and this is gonna sound lame, but like, find the thing that like when you think about it. When you really think about it, it makes you cry. It makes you like really feel emotion. Like really, it's something that you really want. A lot of times there are things that we did in childhood. Think back to like the thing that you used to do all the time. If you ask people close to you, you ask your mom or your dad or any of your family, what did you used to do when you were a kid? What did you used to like, play with or hang out with? What kind of toys did you want? Usually that's the most pure version of you in a weird way. At least it was for me. And I was always making games. Ironically, I was making clubs and I was making games. I always had like this club or this secret club that I wanted to build. I always like, I wanted to build some sort of like place where people could go and hang out. And I always wanted to build like cool experiences in games. And ironically, I ended up building a community and video games, and it just kind of mirrors that perfectly. So, you know, a lot of you guys are game developers on here, and if you're scared of this, but you feel like it's your calling, if you feel like it's your thing, fucking go for it, man. Just do it. I've been terrified my whole life, to be honest. Like, part of the reason why I got into marketing so much was because I had this belief that I just couldn't make games good enough. I couldn't make games good enough to make a living at it. And so that, coupled with making money with marketing, I was just kind of like, I left it for years. I left it. And I don't think you should make that mistake. And if you did, you know, this is your calling card. This is your wake-up call. Make shit happen. Make the game that you want to make. Just do it. And you know what? Don't do stupid shit. Don't remortgage your house to fund 5 years of game development that may never see the light of day. Like, you know, be smart about it, obviously, but maybe start on the side. Keep your job, you know, maybe start that way. But don't get lost in it, man. If game development is your true north, if it's the fucking thing that makes you cry when you think about like the success, if it's the thing that like gets you going and gets you excited, like don't let anybody stop you. Don't let any thoughts stop you. Don't let fear of not succeeding or fear of failure or fear of ridicule, any of that stuff stop you, because at the end of the day, you're gonna die, man. We're all gonna die. And if you want to sit there on your deathbed and say, I never made a game, you go for it. But that's not me. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like and a comment down below. Is game development your true north? You feel like it's your calling? You feel like it's the thing you were put here on this planet to do? Let me know in the comments. Once again, I'm Tim Ruswick, and I hope you guys have a fantastic New Year's, fantastic 2018, and I'll be right here with you making videos. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Happy New Year.